All right, y'all, who's ready for story time with Tati, baby? No, I'm just kidding. If you're here to hear a black lady rant about pro wrestling, you're definitely in the right place. Now, I personally do not like to talk about what's being said in the dirt sheets because a lot of it to me is pure speculation, lies, or somewhat of the truth. And like a truth meaning Cash Wheeler got arrested this morning. We know that's true, but a lot of other things we don't truly know if it's true or not. When I see all the problems that they're talking about with CM Punk and the whole bunch of bullshit going on in the backstage and all that stuff, rather than pointing fingers at anybody on the roster, the first person I'm thinking about is Tony Khan. Where the hell are you when all these things are going on? First things first, CM Punk, sure, he does help with ratings, he sells merch, and he's a popular guy. And whether if you hate him or you love him, he does positive things for the business. Maybe not so much with his mouth sometimes. But the story with CM Punk and Jack Perry was interesting to me because CM Punk is in a position to, I guess, be maybe a locker room leader, maybe. And if Jack Perry is putting himself in a situation where he wants to use glass and it's not safe, and someone who's been in the business for quite some time say, hey, this is not safe, you shouldn't do this. Why is that a bad thing? Why are they reporting that as if CM Punk is being a bully about Jack Perry wanting to try to do something that is unsafe? It just seems like whether he's doing something that is good or bad, the story is turned into, well, yeah, CM Punk was trying to make sure he stays safe, but did he have to argue with him about it? Were you there to see that he was arguing with him about it? Now, when it comes to this story, it kind of brings me back to months ago. Jack Perry had a interview. Obviously, he was a babyface during this time. And during this time, he kind of shits on Billy Gunn. And he had comments about Billy Gunn saying that he would not take advice from him or whatnot. And I'm looking at it as a situation as in Billy Gunn is one of the trainers for AEW, at least during that time. And he's been there and done that. And he's giving you advice. Let's say you didn't like the advice. Why do you have to come on an interview and let us know that? It looks like two things. Like you're problematic and you're not listening to veterans who's been in this business who can, you know, provide you with help that you could use in the ring or during your professional career. And it just looks like that there are issues with these younger talents not wanting to take advice from people who experience pretty much everything in this business. So it makes him already looks problematic. And that's another situation where it's like, well, where is Tony Khan when it comes to these young guys needing to fall in line? Because now we got Jack Perry, who makes it basically seems like, well, you know, well, yeah, I'm young, but I know what I'm doing. That's not necessarily the case. And especially in this business, if you are one of those young guys who's walking around with your head up high, like you know everything, that does not work out well, especially backstage. You still have to pay your dues and work your way to the top. And to be completely honest, if CM Punk is giving him advice so he can stay safe, I don't see why people are complaining about CM Punk taking control of Collision. I don't necessarily see that as just taking control. He's giving advice. Now, when I think about all these stupid stories that are being told right now, I'm like, imagine AEW as a house, and everyone that work in AEW is part of that household. And you have somebody who's in that house who is looking around for any little thing to report to the Wendy Williams of wrestling journalism, Uncle Dave, and let him know whatever's going on. How could you possibly be someone who works for AEW and want the best for AEW, but you're looking around for the negative things to go report for stories? That's absolutely insane. Do you guys remember that cartoon show called Recess? And that little boy, Randall, who is walking around with a pencil and a notepad, who is watching everyone having fun, whether they're doing something bad, whether they're doing something good, he has to report to Miss Fenster about everything. That's what it looks like. It looks like someone who's just back there just to be a snitch and report whatever's going on. And that's absolutely insane. And if I was Tony Khan, I would sit everyone down. They have a contract with me, no matter in what kind of condition you work for me, whether if you are putting up and taking down the ring, whether if you're wrestling, whether if you're a producer, whatever, and have some type of non-disclosure agreement with everybody where it protects the business, because AEW's only been around for 4 years and you have people playing Gossip Girl backstage to go report any little negative thing. How does that make AEW look better? And there's another thing too. For people who want to be wrestlers or people who want to work backstage as producers or whatever, these people who have looked at WWE as, I don't want to go over there. And now they look at AEW as an alternative, as another option. And when you're seeing all these negative stories being told online, who wants to go over there? That stuff don't invite you to want to go and call up Tony Khan and let him know you want a contract, or work a couple of dark matches, or do a couple of squash matches on Rampage or whatever. Like, who is going to want to be there when you see all these stories of negative shit going on there? And it makes it look like Tony Khan ain't got no backbone and is not running the company the way it should be ran. Tony Khan starts off as a fanboy, like pretty much like the rest of us. And here's his daddy who got all the money, and he has his own little wrestling company now. And they've been able to accomplish things in these past 4 years that Impact and all these other companies that's been around, that's come and gone, have not been able to achieve. I'll be damned if I let somebody in my company walking around with a fucking notepad with things to look for, to report to old geezers like Dave Meltzer, just for clicks and views and shit. Like, how is that possible? Like, how is that a positive for the wrestling business? It's absolutely insane. Now, don't think that WWE and Impact and all these other companies don't have issues. They do have issues. It's either that they solve those issues right there and then, or just keep those people away from each other so that there isn't no beef. Because even everything that's going on backstage, whether it's positive or negative, you don't want people to have the wrong idea about your company. And also WWE, they've been around for the longest. Now, AEW only been around for just a few years. There should be much more of a tighter ship over there at AEW, where Tony Khan isn't making friends with everybody in the roster, where he is being a boss. And if something is not right, he's going to handle it right away. You guys saw on Dynamite where Adam Cole and MJF had that segment where they clothesline, I forgot his name, backstage. And here's Tony Khan yelling at them. And obviously, I really felt like all that was him just taking a shot at the dirt sheets and all the people who doubts him as a boss. But then again, you're still hearing all these stories or whatnot. So it does feel like there is some truth to Tony Khan not necessarily having a tight grip onto, you know, being that authoritative figure in AEW. And to be honest, when I see him, I don't even see someone of authority, to be completely honest with you. He just looked like someone who's afraid to be in front of the camera. He looks so timid. And I can see how being in a locker room in front of all these guys and girls with huge ass egos, people who are trying to take control of their own careers and all that stuff. For God's sakes, Tony Khan have active wrestlers as EVPs. That couldn't be the most dumbest thing you could do, part of a business. I don't have no issues with the EVPs or whatever, but that is a horrible thing to do. And you know, he's an amateur at this, and it's going to take some time for him to get things better, but at least he could be having a firm grip on what's going on backstage, because it doesn't look good. And like I said, with people who wants to be wrestlers and want to be part of AEW in any type of way, they're gonna feel hesitant, because now it's like, man, there's problems over there, and I don't want to be part of a problematic company. And if anyone feels like that, I could totally understand, because there's too many negative things being said, despite if you like AEW or not. Because I really do like AEW, and I want them to definitely succeed and be able to be around for years and years to come. But that's hard to do when you have people like Dave Meltzer, who's been part of the wrestling journalism world for what, 40 years, whatever he said. He's been around for so long, and it's literally been since AEW's been around where I think their stories and gossip and rumors and shit have really taken off, because there's a lot of negative things to be said about AEW, and all they need is for you to click and like and all that stuff, and they get paid for all that. Every time you come and seeing what they're talking about, every time you mention Wrestling Observer, that all goes back to them. That's what they want. They're making money off of negative shit that's going on, whether if it's true or not, because you all, well, most of you all, believe everything that they said. No matter what they say, a lot of people is like, well, they're basically the Bible, so they gotta be telling the truth. No, they're not. They're definitely not. And in this day of the internet, people are just doing and saying things for just for you to click on it. A lot of clickbait stories and all these things, and they get money off of that. And if you're gullible to believe it, that helps put a little bit of change in their pockets. Now, hopefully these stories die down, because this is not great. We have a huge pay-per-view next Sunday, and instead of hearing positive things, we're not hearing positive things in the dirt sheets about what's going on backstage. And to be honest, I was expecting a much, I don't know, more interesting card, a much better build with All In, and unfortunately we have not got that. Either way, I think the pay-per-view is going to be really, really great, so I'm looking forward to it anyway, but I wish things were much, much better. Tony Khan, I don't know where you at. I don't know if you're going to see this video. I don't know if you're reading and seeing about everything that's going on, but everybody is seeing about AEW. But I still feel like you need to do something to show some authority back there, so that all this negative press can stop, because it's going to hurt your business. And there are people who really care about AEW that want to see them around for a long time. And if you don't fix it, y'all won't be around much longer. Guys, thanks so much for watching my video. I needed to rant. I was bothering my sister talking about all this wrestling stuff. She has no idea what any of this is, so I had to come on camera and actually address people that know what I'm talking about. Let me know what you guys think down below. Are you looking forward to All In? Do you think CM Punk is a cancer to the wrestling business? Like, what are your thoughts on all these stories that are going on? And do you think that AEW will be around for another 4 years? Let me know down below. Thanks for watching. Bye.